website contact details. We're putting that in first.
Come on, no.
Is that you watching?
Yeah, well, not yet. No, I'm just trying to test the audio. Yeah, all good.
Hey, calm down.
John, could you share this to your page?
Sorry?
Could you share this to your Facebook page, please?
Can I share it to my Facebook page?
Okay.
How do I do that?
John, you're now live, by the way.
Okay.
Just wait till we've got a few viewers.
Give it a few more minutes. Let's start.
Hello everyone, and welcome to Elite Pigeon Auction's first ever live stream. We've got John here of Angwin Family Pigeons.
Hiya.
Just want to say thanks, John, for doing this. I know you're a busy man. We won't keep you too long. We just want to ask you a few questions and see what your thoughts are on a few things, and hopefully just have a nice flowing general chat.
No problem.
Wow, so all of Facebook's watching. So first off, everyone, the website is www.elitepigeonauctions.co.uk. John's first auction starts Sunday the 3rd of October, which is tomorrow, and it'll be live from 6 AM. Everyone needs to register if they want to bid, and also if you could fill out your billing information and your shipping addresses, and that will allow you to make a bid if you want to. So John, we'll get started.
Yep.
How and when did pigeon racing all start for you?
Well, I've always been in around pigeons. Dad's had pigeons all my life, but I was interested in them when I was a young kid. Going up the club, setting clocks and things like that. And then girls came along, and pigeons went out the window, as with a lot of people. And I got back into pigeons here at my place probably in 2002, I think it was. Before that, it was always down at Dad's place, and a lot of people know what it's like when your pigeons aren't home with you. It's always a lot more difficult. So yeah, I built myself a loft. Well, it was Dad really. He wanted to go to an auction up in Doncaster or somewhere like that. And I went along to the auction with him because he was interested in bidding for some pigeons, and I bought some myself. So as soon as I come back, then I had to build myself a loft, and basically that's where it all started. And well, everything's just got bigger and bigger, and just got more into it. Pigeons, you just can't be without them, and that's basically it.
So from 2002, you've had pigeons, you've been back racing from your own place.
That's at my place, yeah.
Right. So you mentioned your dad. How long have you had pigeons?
Oh, in 1962, something like that, when he was living up in Wellingborough in Northampton.
Right. Long
So
time.
yeah, he's had a long time, and it was a few years where he packed up. I think it was the late 80s, early 90s, with work commitments and family commitments. He packed up, but it was only a few years, and he was back into them again. So always quite successful. He loves the channel racing, but I'm more into the sprint pigeons, and it's difficult to do both. So I've dedicated my loft to sprint pigeons. There's nothing wrong with channel racing. For the shorter channel races, for these sprint birds, they can do it. They can fly, 7 and 8 hours. But when you get to, 500 mile plus, it takes special pigeons to do that, especially down in Cornwall with the hawks and everything. It's just difficult.
Another thing I wanted to ask you is, from when you started up, or even from the early years that you can remember with your dad, how have you seen everything change in pigeon racing? Not just in regards to the drop of the membership and stuff like that, but other things as well.
Well, the attitude of pigeon fanciers have gone down, in my opinion. There's no camaraderie anymore with pigeons. There is a little bit, but I don't know what to do to change it. But that's what needs changing. There's too much backbiting and too many people that are jealous of what you're doing or what you've got and what you've won. But if that could change to go back like it used to, I suppose it used to go on years ago as well, but you didn't hear of it. And I suppose now there's less and less pigeon fanciers, you hear more and more of it.
Yeah. So down in Cornwall, can you just give us a rough idea of the combines, the feds that maybe have been, and how that's gone on?
Yeah, the Cornish combine used to be quite big. They used to have their own Arctic and go away with quite a few thousand birds. But now it's it's dying down in Cornwall. It's dying quick. Majority, I know it's everywhere, but majority are in their 70s. There's no youngsters coming into the sport. But at the end of the day, you can only race against what's in front of you. So, you know, the terrain down in Cornwall is quite difficult with a lot of moorland and open ground. I mean, the cliffs all the way around Cornwall, so you've got the bird of prey problem. I know that's everywhere. But we've just got to grin and bear it and get on with it. If we want to carry on racing pigeons.
I think as in regards to birdage, I think that's like kind of the case everywhere nowadays. You know, there's not many clubs in the UK that are still sending, you know, 600, 700, 800 pigeons a week like they were 20, 30 years ago.
No.
It's just not happening nowadays, and I think that's just the way it's going, unfortunately.
Yeah. But all you can do is fly against what's in front of you and keep going, because I don't want to give up the sport.
No.
I think it's a fantastic sport. I love my pigeons. I love racing. I'm very competitive. If I send a pigeon, I send it to win. And if I'm beaten, I'm beaten fair and square. You know, there's no excuses. Every week, I intend to win. It doesn't always happen, but we do quite well down here in Cornwall. We're one of the longest flyers. There's only 3 or 4 flyers past us, which is only 2 or 3 miles is the longest flyers past us. And most weeks we are the longest flyer flying in the combine, which is ideal in a tailwind. But we fly east to west, so we've had a few this year, I know, but normally we don't get the east winds. So most of the time we're flying into the prevailing wind, which is a southwest wind, which is straight on the nose for our pigeons.
Yeah.
When we brought these bolts and everything in, I was unsure whether they could do it into a headwind, but they've proved us. Well, they've done us proud.
Yeah. So that brings me on to my next question. Over the last few years, could you just talk about a few of your results and what you've won at club level, combine level, you know?
Yeah, you mean...
I know you don't like mentioning club results, but, you know, it's still...
Well, I don't normally mention club results because, you know, the club is... Well, we've got one of the biggest clubs in the combine, but the birdage is always very low. You mean, so normally if I publicise anything, it'll only be combine results. So back in 2019, old birds, we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 races. So the first race, 5th, 6th, 9th, 11th, 12th combined. Second race, 20th, 21st, 22nd, 23rd, 25th. Third race from 162 mile. First and second combine, 7th, 17th and 26th. Back to 120 mile, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th and 12th. Yeovil 142 miles, 13th, 15th, 16th. Salisbury 180 miles, 7th and 13th combined. Newbury 18th combine, Honiton 14th, 28th. Not a very good season this one for old birds. Bovington 248 miles, 6th and 8th combine. And come back from Pro 162 mile, 4th and 14th combine. Then when we go on to young birds, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 races again. First race, first 5 in the combine. Second race, first 5 in the combine.
You said first 5, John. You've got a 5 bird limit in your combine, is that right?
Yeah, there's a 5 bird limit, so only the first 5 pigeons that you clock in count. So I think it was back in 2000 and I'm not sure exactly what it was, 2014 or something like that. But there was a bigger limit, and we had the first 10 in the combine. That's a record that will never be broken again. It was equalled, but it'll never be broken again because of the 5 bird limit.
Yeah.
So we got extra 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th combine. We've got a Frome 162 mile, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th and 9th combine. come back to Oakhampton, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th. 98 miles from Exeter, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th combine. Honiton, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 15th. And then the last race of the season, 8th, 9th, to 10th combine. I was back in 2019. I won't bore everybody with all the results, but 2020, we won the combine. We had the first 5 in the combine, 1, 2, 3 times. We was a 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th once. We was a 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th once. 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, and 8th another time. That's in old birds. And then young birds, we had the first 5 in the combine from the 2nd race, first 5 in the combine from the 4th race. We won the RPRA award for the region award for 0 to 250 mile. RPRA region award for best performance. We won the old bird combine points, young bird combine points, and combined points. We won the VED, the RPRA VED Day trophy for the regions. And we had the ace pigeon in the Who Dares Wins one lot race.
Brilliant results, John.
Which was nice. Yeah, this year has been very similar. You know, plenty of combine positions, always up there. I think we're the only person this year that was on the combine result every week. And I think the worst combine result one week was 21st or something like that. So yeah, the performances are there, but the birdage is down a little bit.
Still, I think even if the birdage is down, it doesn't necessarily mean that the competition is. You know what I mean? You can still have competition in the lower birdages.
There is some strong competition. There is some really keen people. There's some people, like in all organisations, they send their pigeons just to see them fly home.
Yeah.
But then you get the other people that send them to win, and yeah, we've got our fair share that send to win. And there is strong competition, and you've got to have your birds in tip-top condition every week.
Leads me on to me next question, John. Well, it's more of a personal one for you. Can you just tell us a bit about your most memorable day in Pigeons, or most memorable weekend, or whatever it may be? I know you've had lots of results, and it'd probably be a bit hard to choose off the spot.
Well, there's a few. You mean winning the first 10 in the combine, young bird racing back in 2019 when you get 32 youngsters dropped together. We've only got a 5-bird limit, but you've got 32 youngsters dropped together and they clock within 25 seconds the whole 32. It's quite exciting when that happens. And then this year, National Flying Club with one from New Young Kittle, 6th Open, and then another one with the BICC. We won 2nd Open, so yeah, it's been nice.
Those are the only 2 national races you sent to this year, am I right?
It is, yeah.
It's fantastic flying. Yeah. I know down in Cornwall, obviously at national, you have got to pick your days, because on some days with some winds, you're never going to have a chance. And I think it's a good place to fly to.
Yeah, you mean if they come in at Portsmouth, we've got 200 miles to come down. Whoever wins the national or these big races, they've got to have things stacked up in their favour. It's not very often. One of the races, I'm not sure if it was the BICC or the NFC race this year, there was a good bird up north. That was an absolute fantastic pigeon, high up in the open results, out of turn. And sometimes we do get that down in Cornwall, but not very often. The birdage to go to these nationals is only 30, 40 pigeons flying against 5,000 or 6,000 pigeons.
Yeah.
It is difficult coming down into Cornwall, but every bird has got its chance.
Yeah. Next thing, John, is just if you could talk about obviously the families of pigeons that you've raised, the strains. I know you've told me briefly about.
Sorry, pigeon went off. I didn't hear that.
Sorry, John. If you just talk to me about the strains that you've raised and the families over the years, and I know you've already mentioned to me briefly about what happened when you brought the Dirk Van den Bulks in, the Rudy Van Reefs, Leo Hermans. Just tell us about that.
Originally, we started off with the Eagleson Bush Arts. Back in 2000, we brought in a few Eagleson Bush Arts from Mervyn Eagleson's clearance sale at Blackpool. And they're absolutely fantastic pigeon, the Bush Arts. You know, they've been around a long time. They still win races now, although I've not got many in the team. I've still got the old bloodline. And then we brought in a few Hopkins for the more middle distance. I mean, the Bush Arts, they're a good all-round pigeon. They'll sprint and they'll do 500 mile. The Hopkins, we found very good hard-day pigeon. We've crossed them, been good. We brought in a few Jan Ardens. They've done well with crossing them with the Hopkins. But every year we normally bring in a kit of a different strain just to try them against our Bush Arts. And we was doing that. You know, you name it, we've probably tried them. They win now and again, but nothing as regular as the Bush Arts. So then we ended up bringing in the Herman Coosters, and they done all right. And we brought in a few more Herman Coosters. Then we brought in the Leo Hermans and the Dirk Vandenbolts. And since we brought in the Dirk Vandenbolts, they've just absolutely obliterated everything. The first year we raced the bulks. A lot of them were crossed with the Leo Hermans, I know, but I think it was only one race in the Youngbird season that year that it was something else other than a bulk. So, you know, then I invested more into the bulks, and that's where we are today.
I remember you telling me about you were very apprehensive when you bought the young Kittle, obviously. Mm-hmm. Back then, even though not as money as they fetching now, but still a lot of money.
Yeah, you mean
your dad saying it as well.
You mean Dad would go out and spend, you know, £300 or £400 on a pigeon, but you know, now with some of these bulks and some of these more fancy breed pigeons, you're talking about thousands of pounds. And yeah, I mean, I wanted new young Kittle because of the way he's bred. You know, his full brother was Les Green's Golden Kittle.
Yeah.
And, you know, he's done phenomenal with him. But yeah, it was a bit of a nerve-wracking time, you know, breeding these youngsters. We had 15 youngsters in 2019 direct from New Young Kittle. And all but 2 of them scored really good combine positions, really good. So yeah, I haven't looked back. It was nice to get the first race that one of your New Young Kittle's youngsters went into. It was nice to get one of them back first. Yeah, it was a relief. And he was worth every single penny and more.
That's it. I mean, I suppose if you could say to most people you spend X amount, it's going to be a lot higher than you'd usually spend, but it guarantees you, you know, a decent breeder. I'm sure most people would spend it, but obviously with pigeons it's finding them breeders and finding what.
Yeah, I mean, New Young Kittle was a late bred. You know, it'd never been bred from before, so it was totally unknown. You know, it could have been the worst day's decision that I'd ever made, but no, it turned out the best decision I ever made.
Fantastic. What I also want to ask you is there any certain lines that you found do better in headwinds, tailwinds? You know what I mean? Lower velocities, higher velocities, or you just found they're good?
Well, most of our velocities down in Cornwall are anywhere from 1,000 yards a minute up to 1,400 yards a minute. 1,400 yards a minute for us is quite a quick race. Yeah. Maybe once or twice a year we might get 1,600, 1,700 yards a minute, but not very often. So, I mean, they've all taken their turn in coming really well from headwinds. It's really surprising because, you know, you think of a sprint pigeon, you know, as a fast pigeon, so they need a tailwind to be that fast. But no, they've certainly shown their stamina. You know, even this year in the RPRA, we was 4th in the final of the RPRA one lot race, 7-hour race for predominantly a bulk pigeon.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Yeah, they can do it.
I know they've also done well in the WDW You had the ace pigeon
Yeah.
in that. I
Yeah,
believe that was a grandchild of the young kittle, was it?
it was. And this one this year was also a grandchild of New Young Kittle.
Fantastic. So if we can just go through a bit of your a bit of advice from you, really, just for anyone who's watching who perhaps wants any. I know you're never keen to big yourself up, but we're asking, so answer it. So we'll start off with feeding. Anything that you like to say about it,
Well,
or how much?
the way I feed my pigeons, a lot of people would disagree with. But who's to say I'm right and someone else is wrong, or the other way around? It works for me. I haven't changed what I feed and the way I feed for quite a few years now, simply because if it's not broke, don't fix it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you mean basically Bamford's High Carbo Red as a base Woodwood mix. I'm a firm believer in barley, malting barley. I feed a lot of barley. And the way that I do it, a lot of people, I've had people come down and look at my feed, look at the food that I've mixed up for them, and they just laugh. But it works. So, you know, you can go out and buy a 25 pound bag of pigeon corn. Well, are the birds going to fly any better? I mean, as long as it's good, clean corn,
Yeah.
and you're feeding the right amounts for what you're expecting them to do, so as long as you're fueling them right for the race, yeah, they do it for me. I love barley.
That's it. So basically, you'll have a high percentage of barley at the beginning of the week, and then lower it down through to a low percentage.
Yeah, you mean, obviously you're looking at the weather every day of the week. But yes, basically it starts off, when they come home from the race, I break them down. A lot of people feed them protein, I don't. Basically, 90% barley, 10% Woodwood food. That's their mixture when they come home from their race. They get as much as they want, but only in small amounts, because I'm not going to put down, loads of food and they just pick out the corn. I want them to eat barley as well, so they'll have small amounts. And on that, they have lemon juice and honey. Next day, then basically they're starting on their program then now to build them up for the end of the week. So it's it's 2/3 Woodwood food and 1/3 barley. Basically, that goes through all the way through the week. I mean, we race on a Sunday down here because we're the only ones flying east to west, crossing everybody else's bird. Yeah, so it just helps with the clashing. So on a Friday is basically the only day that they'll get 100% Woodwood corn and no barley. But every other day of the week there is a certain amount of barley in their food.
That's fantastic. So the next thing, John, I'm going to ask you about is training, loft flying. I know it's a big question for everyone up and down.
Yeah, you mean, we get a lot of sea mist down here. Especially where I live, you might drive 5 miles up the road and it's sunshine, but here we've got fog. So, the pigeons will come through that. I like to train my birds every day. I start, if we're talking about youngsters, I like to start them off 5 weeks before the first race, and I'll keep them at a certain point for a week. So I'll start off very gently because it's not really training; it's more about education. So I'll start them off from about 2 miles. And they'll stay there for a week. The pigeons have been flying around the loft for an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours as youngsters. So it is education and not training. But then I'll move them on, and they'll go to 5 miles. They'll stay there for a week. After 5 miles, they go to 12 miles. They'll stay there for a week. And then they go to 20 miles. They'll stay there for a week. So now you're only at 20 miles, but you're 4 weeks in. Now, then I'll start jumping them, and I do like to get them as far as I can. This year they went to 70 miles before they went to the first race at 80 miles, just to sort them out.
So good solid education.
Sorry?
Good solid education, plenty of tosses.
Yeah, the more the merrier. Yeah, the more you take them training, the more they're going to get hit by the bird of prey. and the more risk you have got of losing them and losing big numbers. But they've got to be educated and they've got to be fit. So I like them to be loft flying for an hour and a half at least before I even start training.
So in regards to motivation and systems, this is for your old birds, well, for your young birds as well, you want to answer that. Roundabout, widowwood, double widowwood, natural?
Yeah, no, it's trying to keep it easy. I mean, with working and everything, I know I packed up work now and it's a lot easier, but with working, the roundabout system I found the easiest. It was something that my missus could help me with. I'd take the birds off training. She was here to get them in, move them across so the cocks didn't see the hens and all that. And I just stuck to it because, you know, I like the system. I think it is more suited towards hens than cocks. You know, as young birds, you do get a lot of cocks winning. As old birds, you know, yearlings, 2-year-olds, it is predominantly hens. And some of our best performances have been with hens on the roundabout system. So yeah, basically my old birds, they're trained 20 mile every day, so they'll race on a Sunday. They don't go anywhere on Monday. They just have a bath and a loft fly. And then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, they have a 20 mile trainer. In the evenings, they're loft flown. So I like them to fly an hour if possible. But I like them to free fly. I don't like to force them to fly. So it's just keeping an eye on them, and as soon as they're ready to come down and in.
Perhaps your old birds weren't flying. What were the first things you'd start to look at?
I never pay too much attention to it as long as they're looking healthy. I mean, a pigeon will normally tell you if there's something wrong. Once you get to know your pigeons, you know their characteristics, and they'll tell you when there's something wrong. But yeah, you mean the best advice with that is testing.
Yeah.
You know, blind treating. I'm going away from a lot of treatments, and I'd rather give them herbal remedies to see whether you can combat any problems. You know, to stop them from arising.
Before I reach
So I'm a big. Sorry.
Is that before you'd reach for a bottle? You'd always try something herbal.
Yeah, definitely. You mean if you know, you never take any notice of a pigeon, or you do take notice, but you always got to give it an open mind when they come back from a race, and you know they're going to be a little bit tired, they're going to be a little bit hunched up. The drop-ins will be watery. You know, they haven't had any food for quite a while, but as long as the next day they bounce back, you got nothing to worry about.
Spot on. Next thing.
So the young birds.
Sorry, John.
The young birds are a little bit different. I'll train my young birds, you know, all mixed up. And as soon as they come back from their first race, then they're separated. So they'll go to the first races as mixed, cocks and hens together. Come back from the first race, they're separated. Within a few hours, they're separated, and then they're on basically a roundabout system, the same as the old birds. Where the cocks never see the hens until a Friday or Saturday. Sorry.
I just want to touch back on roundabout a second, John. For your old birds, this is. Do you, when you're loft flying them, do you let the hens out first, run the cocks into the hen section?
Yeah. So basically, it's like a roundabout. You know, everything comes out of the hen section and traps into the cock section. So my hen section is right next door to the cocks. There's one trap on the old bird loft, and that's the cock section. So they always come out of the hen section, go back into the cock section, and there's always a tidbit for them to go back into.
Next thing, John. Medication. You just touched upon it there.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any routine treatments you'd use throughout the season, or is it something you try and stay away from?
I always treat before. People always talk about blind treating. I don't necessarily agree with blind treating, but I do a little bit of it myself. Before they go racing, they will get treatments. So only the basics, coccycanker and worms. I tend to suffer with worms. Normally every loft suffers with something, whether it's coccidiosis or canker. My problem is always worms. So I treat quite regularly for worms. I use a moxidectin-based product a lot of the times. Repeat it 10 days later to try to eradicate it. You come along next year and you've got worms back, but I don't know where they come from. But yeah, you mean I'd rather not treat, and I would rather send a test kit off. Every year I buy quite a few test kits and send them off quite regularly. So you only treat then for what you need to treat for. It saves you a fortune in the end.
Yeah.
A lot of the time, if you're blind treating, you'll be using products costing you a fortune, and they're not doing anything because there's nothing wrong with the pigeons.
Yeah. Right, I think we best get on to some pigeons, John.
Yeah. What do you want to see? Some of the birds.
Yeah, I mean, just in any order you like.
Yeah, ideal.
So thank you for everyone watching. We're up to 43 viewers now. I'm sure it'll be watched a lot more in the coming days, but appreciate everyone's support. And I hope you're enjoying it.
They've been in a basket for a little while because I had to pick them up before it got dark. This is 21P 04260. 04260 blue bar cock. There we are. Off a Spitfire and a daughter of Better Than Bolt. So this cock is a grandchild of Better Than Bolt. Spitfire is off of New Young Kittle, paired to Mother Super Turbine. Quite a powerful cock. He's still in the molt. He's got one flight to go. He's growing his 9th, so he's going to be. He's dropped his 10th on one wing, and he hasn't quite dropped it yet. Oh yes, he has. He's dropped it on both sides. So he'll be plenty good for breeding early.
So he'll be a grandchild of New Young Kittle and Mother Super Duvin.
Yep. And also Better Than Bolt.
And Better Than Bolt.
And Better Than Bolt. It's from the daughter of Better Than Bolt.
It's fantastic, John. Just get the pedigree for everyone to see.
Spitfire is only a 2020 pigeon, but the daughter of Better Than Bolt are breadwinners.
Fantastic, John. These New Young Kittle's results. Just some of the highlights there. See some of the big ones. Sire of 6 Open, NSC Guernsey.
Right, next we've got one direct off Wolfgang Bolt. Still quite heavy in the molt.
Will you just step back a touch, John, please?
Really? Certainly.
Yeah, you're right. Just come a bit to your right. Just a touch. Yep, spot on. Which one's this, John?
This is off of Wolfgang Bolt and the daughter of Vale Dirk.
So that's Vale Bolt. GB 21P 04258.
That's it, mealy cock.
Yeah, he's a lover pigeon. Obviously Wolfgang Bolt, he was a new acquisition last year, first year breeding. I know that he did breed a few good pigeons for the few that he sent out in kits and to test lofts and stuff like that to your friends.
Yeah. You mean I haven't raised anything from him myself yet. Next year, seeing I've got some of his children now, I can raise 2 generations against each other. So it'll give you more of an idea whether it's children or grandchildren that
I suppose that's a big problem for you because obviously you've got quite a few.
That's the problem.
Yeah, you've got quite a few. How do I say it? Stud cocks, so to speak, and getting children from each of them into the race team?
It is difficult, yes. So, yeah, I mean, I do send some, this year I sent out some absolute quality pigeons in kits, that I wouldn't normally send out. I didn't tell people what they were off because I wanted them raced. So, and they've done well.
It's fantastic.
Oh, here we got Opal Bolt. This is the first ever Opal that I've bred.
I know which one he is.
Yeah, he's a powerful cock.
Obviously still a bit heavy in the molt.
Yeah, he's still in the molt, but he's getting through it now. Just need a little bit more, a few more baths. I've given them while they're in the molt. Try to give them as many baths as possible. They had a bath yesterday. Try to do it just on the nicer days. It's been raining here all day today, so I didn't bath them. Yeah, Opal Bolt is off with one of my racing hens actually. The mother is this one. Sure, she won the combine. 23.
Here, John, if you need them.
Yeah.
Granddaughter 2, which I'm guessing is off our edge.
Yeah, our edge, another cracking pigeon. That was co-breeding with Mark Vinicum.
I can see here 1st, 5th, 6th, 9th, 11th combine, and also she bred 10th combine. So not bad for a racing hen.
Yeah, that's just this year, that is.
Yeah.
She's a 2020 pigeon, so I don't think she did anything as a young bird other than being consistent. But a lot of the time, she'd be in the first batch, but she doesn't get a card because she's not in the first 5. So I was going to keep that cock for myself, but you've got to put your best in. Keep my best back.
Yeah, I'm glad you did.
This is a 2020 pigeon. This was a late bred last year. 20F 26867. Checker white flight.
Super New Young Kittle, or Super NYK.
Yeah, off a Spitfire and a daughter of the brother of 030. Lovely pigeon. They're all powerful.
Big
white flight in one wing. Yeah, and this one's off a Spitfire again, so New Young Kittle. So this is a granddaughter of New Young Kittle again. The grandchildren of New Young Kittle they've done really well this year with their performances. They're starting to build up, and the great grandchildren of New Young Kittle.
Yeah, we're just showing everyone the pedigree for this pigeon now. Obviously, as with all your pigeons, fantastic pedigree. Which is what you get, I suppose, when you're buying, high-end, top-quality pigeons.
Well, it's not always about the pedigree, but it's nice to have both.
Yeah.
It's more about the performance. Some of the pairings that I do, some people would never do, but if it works, if a cross works, my sixth open NFC this year was from a cross. That was a Bolt cross Jan Arden. Who would do that? It worked. He was an absolutely fantastic cock. He raced well as a young bird, as a yearling, and as a 2-year-old.
I know it's when looking for pedigrees, especially the race pigeons. You're not scared to cross them. You don't care about keeping things pure. And
well, it's about winning. It's about winning and breeding winners. This one's Shannon's favourite. I think it's Shannon's favourite. Yeah, Grizzle cock from the son of Better Than Bolt, and a great granddaughter of Pitbull 777.
Also on his mother's side, R-Red, son of Winnie 2.
You've got the pedigrees there. Son of Better Than Bolt. he's only just started breeding winners. I don't think I had him right. He's a 2017 pigeon. He was wasted for a year or two. But yeah, I mean, this year he started breeding winners now. So he's a half sister a half brother to the daughter of Better Than Bolt that I've got.
He's a cracking cocker. He's one of my favourites.
He is a nice pigeon. This is a nice pigeon. 4243 from a son of Wild Wind and a daughter of Manchester. The son of Wild Wind we've got, and the daughter of Wild Wind bred some absolutely outstanding pigeons. So this one's a grandchild of Wild Wind and Manchester. The nestmate to it I gave away to a friend. He wanted to try the line, so.
I know that Wild Wind line's been a brilliant line for you as well.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like pairing or racing from a pairing that's a full brother and sister. But in 2019, I paired the son of Wild Wind to the daughter of Wild Wind because I wanted a hen. I wanted a double granddaughter. While in the nest, I had a cock and a hen. So I put the cock in the race team, and he won 2 combines for me. So, he was very inbred, but they can still race if they're inbred. This is a nice cock, nice balanced pigeon. I like to have a more of a balanced pigeon myself. I don't like an overly long pigeon, which some of these sprint birds, especially the Herman Kuchers, they can throw long casted pigeons, but I prefer them a little bit shorter myself. Plenty of muscle on it. Here's my pick of the sale. Ring number UTBGR, yeah. 21P 04500. Special ring for a special pigeon. She's absolutely stunning. I love this pigeon. It's the only.
When there were a few questions as to whether to put her in the sale, you did want to keep her back, but
she wasn't going in the sale simply because she's the only blue pied. All the rest are blues this way bred, but you've got to put your best in. I won't be disappointed if this pigeon stayed here. She is lovely. She's a nice size. She's a small to medium hen. Plenty of muscle on her. Nice handling pigeon. So she's off of Blue Bear 388. So he's the son of Brother Good Road. And Queen D44, which is a half sister to Leo Herman's 030. Not many of them around, I wouldn't have thought.
Yeah, she's
father of this pigeon, his nestmate sold for 113,000 on Pippa.
There's not many that way bred now. Obviously there's a few from Brother Good Road, but not many with a 40,000 then.
No. Another cock, 20p. This is another late bred 2020, 40976. So 76 is a direct son of New Young Kittle.
Chixie Kittle.
Chixie Kittle. Yeah, so the mother is Chixie, the father is New Young Kittle.
Can you tell us a little bit about Chixie, John?
Chixie, yeah, bought her from Sheldon Leonard in his sale. You've got the paperwork in front of me, don't ask me to riddle it off now.
I'll just round some off for you. So Chixie, she's direct from the Bolt, who was a son of Bolt and Double Ask. Paired onto All in One, which is from a son of Olympiad, paired to a full sister of Dijon. Chixie has bred 25 times first prize winners, First National Barleycorn, first Provincial Ace 2018, first Provincial 2174, first Provincial 2250, first Provincial 613. And it says here best results from children. It's rhyming off first prizes again. So obviously she's a super breeding then. Not many off that way bred either with the bolt line. I suppose you were lucky to get her, John.
Yeah.
Sheldon rated that hen highly as well.
Yeah. Compared on to New Young Kittle, what more could you ask for? Performance to performance, breeders of performances to breeders of performances. Birds are still quite heavy in the molt. Here we got Deadman, I believe he's called, 4227.
Oh, this pigeon, when we were doing the videos and we were handling them, just sat in your hand perfectly. So calm.
Still in the molt. Yeah, he is a calm pigeon. He's a smaller cock. He's not as big, but I think he's got something in him. Double grandchild of Den 2000. Den 2000 is a son of Brother Good Road. And there's a double grandchild.
Direct from Dirty Den, paired on to Den 11. Obviously Den 11 with a bit of Sagan blood there appearing, from a brother of Sagan paired to Late John, who is also from Sagan and Good Brood 008.
Here we got another direct daughter of New Young Kittle.
And I believe this is Dad's pick.
This is Dad's pick, 04303.
I think she'd be a lot of people's pick as well.
She is probably the last one that will ever leave here. Her mother has bred a lot of good pigeons for Philip Bowl over in Ireland. I've got two A4 sheets of performances that her mother has bred in the NIPA, and then in the NIPA you're talking about really big birdage. So there's nothing new for 15,000 pigeons.
You can see him over here, John. Direct daughter of Don Cleo and Princess Shirley. First club, first section, 15th Open NIPA, 22,899 birds. Second club, 10th section, 117th Open NIPA, 20,611 birds. Third club, third section, 8th Open NIPA, 18,313 birds. If you want to read the rest of that, you can. But yeah, she's bred some fantastic pigeons. Obviously, direct daughter of Don Cleo as well. Paired onto a direct son of Kittle.
Two good eyes.
Lovely hen.
She is a nice hen. She's quite a stocky hen. Her mother is quite a big hen. Quite broad.
Short, compact, if I remember right. Broad front.
Full of muscle. Probably the last one to go. Here we got something a bit different. I do really like this pigeon.
A bit white. I remember when we put this pigeon in the sale.
Well, the first
we were talking about obviously whites and performances, and then the full sister goes and wins the combine.
The first nest they produce a white. I didn't want to race a white, and a friend of mine, he flies 20 miles short of me. He had a cracking season. He said, "Oh yeah, I'll race it." Well, I should have kept him for myself because I'm not sure if it's the second or third week in young birds goes and wins the combine. Pure white, exactly. A full sister, exactly the same as this hen. Got a little tiny. I don't know if you can see that there. That's the only markings on her. Touch of black underneath her wing.
Just tip-ex it out, John.
Yeah. But she sits lovely in the hand. She's a lovely balanced pigeon. She's just nice apple-bodied. She is nice.
She's direct from Brother John, who's a son of our edge. Paired onto the mother of the last 10 that he handled, Gisheltzi Dahlia, who's a daughter of Don Cleo and Princess Shirley. Obviously, I talked about the breeding last time. Then on the mother's side, Her mother is direct from a son of Pitbull, of Rudy Van Reef, Carol Larnen. And on the other side, there's not much information, as with a lot of the Belgian pedigrees. But yeah, she's already bred good pigeons, so I suppose it doesn't matter.
Next one up is 04352. Another cock. Direct from Rambo. Yeah. Direct from Rambo. And double granddaughter of Kittle. You got the paperwork there, I think.
Yeah, we'll start rhyming some stuff off if anyone's interested.
I'm not sure. I've got 2 double granddaughters of Kittle. I think this one is the one that Les Green bred.
Yes.
Sea Ringer.
So obviously the sire is Rambo. Fantastic breeder for Rudy Van Reef. John bought him in his entire Cleveland sale. Paid a lot of money for him. Obviously the mother of Rambo is the Super Duvin, who's direct off mother Super Duvin, who John also owns. And then onto the mother's side, it's Classel, who is direct from Les Green. She's a daughter of Double Kittle, son of Kittle, paired onto a sister of Kittle. And on the dam side, Dirt's Kittle, which is Kittle paired onto Easy 1 Euro. And I know that Double Kittle line has bred winners as well.
Now this one looks a bit of a stake because it's lost the longer tail feathers. They've dropped the tail feathers, so the pigeon looks quite short, quite heavy in the molt. It's a 2020 pigeon, 40963. So this is off of the pigeon I was talking about a minute ago, the double grandson of Wildwind that I raced. So the sire of this pigeon is a double combine winner, and the mother of this pigeon is a daughter of New Rossi and Anuski.
Wild Rossi.
Wild Rossi. Yeah.
And this was a stunning pigeon at the time that we photographed. Obviously the breeding's impeccable. Performance and pedigree all in one. The sire double wind. First of all, double winner of the double first Cornish combine winner, and also a double grandchild of Wild Wind. People talk about inbreeding, but John's inbreeding and he's racing them, and they're obviously winning. Onto the other side, not many bred like this. I'm not 100% sure if there's any others in this country. I think there might be 1, possibly 2, but a direct daughter of New Rossi and Anuski. Obviously, New Rossi and Anuski bred the Golden Lady dynasty, 871, 872, the mother of Good Road, Brother Good Road, and then for the other nestmate from New Rossi and Anuski, the mother of Don Caleo, etc. So you know what they've bred. Yeah, it's fantastic pigeon, Wild Rossi. Performance and pedigree combined.
Anybody want pretty with a good breeding, with a good pedigree? This is double 433. This is from. No, it's not double. It's 4333.
Yeah. Witty Vale. Stunning pigeon, just to look at.
The father of this, I bought as a youngster. When I got him, he was just an ordinary colt. He was young, go through that teenage spell. These youngsters do. They're a bit gangly. Now that he's developed into an absolute fantastic pigeon. The mother is a full brother. The mother is a full sister to Veyron. Veyron from 003. Veyron is from 030, the Legend 030, and the mother of it is Red Diamond Kittle. Is a full sister to Kittle.
Obviously, fantastic pedigree, inbred, nice handling pigeon, good looking pigeon.
Perfect, ready for crossing out. Nearly there now, only a couple more, I think. Double 433. Another top class pedigree on this one as well. This is direct from Blue Bear 388 when he was paired to Chiron, the mother of the last one.
This is the half sister of the last pigeon.
Half sister of the last pigeon, different father, same mother. This is from the son of Brotherhood Road, paired to the daughter of 030 and Red Diamond Kittle.
Obviously, grandchild of Brotherhood Road and 40,000. Also a grandchild of the legend 030. Probably the last ace pigeon for Leo Hermans before his big clearance sale. Paired onto a full sister of Kittle, so kind of 3/4 Vandenbolt, quarter Leo Hermans. But obviously, Leo Hermans make up some of the original pigeons that got in. Again, just fantastic quality that John's offered the site.
Some of these I'll be keeping, brothers and sisters, to put in the stock lot to try them myself.
She looks lovely, John.
There's nothing here that I wouldn't keep myself. You know, they were bred for, yes, selling pigeons is all very well, but basically at heart, I want pigeons to win.
Yeah.
So, last but not least, I think this is the co-breeding.
Grizzlebeer.
Yeah, 4511.
Another granddaughter of Brotherhood Road.
Yeah, so this is a half sister to the last one on the sire side. So this is a co-breeding pigeon, co-breeding with Darren Hunt. It's worked really well. I hope we carry on doing it. We split the pigeons. He's got whatever he wants, and I have whatever I want. That was a good way of getting some different blood.
I know you've both had winners from doing it as well.
Yeah.
So, fantastic. So obviously on the mother's side, Pitbull, a little bit of Dirk Vandenbolt. Yeah, just super pedigree.
Am I right in saying that the mother of this pigeon is a granddaughter of Good Road and Pitbull?
Yeah, so the grandfather of that pigeon on the mother's side is a full brother to the Vale Ace, Dirk Vandenbolt, because from Good Road and the 999, and paired onto a daughter of Pitbull and Jiplact, which I think half sister to the father of Pitbull, if I remember rightly. And obviously, Wild Beer is the father, direct son of Brotherhood Road and the 40,000. Obviously, not many of them knocking around now. Most of them probably in China. I know there's a few in Belgium. I'm not 100% sure if anyone else in the UK has got anything from Brotherhood Road when paired to the 40,000 then. I think there might be one. Yeah, so I think that's all 16, John.
That's the birds. They'll start tomorrow morning at 6 o'clock. First auction for Elite Pigeon Auctions.
Sign up and register.
Sign up and register.
So yeah, I mean, the last question, John, really is just what you'd look for in a stock pigeon, if you'd look for anything.
Performance. What it's bred. It's not always possible with buying a young pigeon. You've got to take a gamble now and again. I always like to buy a pigeon that suits me. Like I said a minute ago, I prefer pigeons that aren't too long. It's just what I prefer. It doesn't mean to say that a long pigeon won't breed winners and won't race, because they do. You know, winners come in all shapes and sizes, all different colours. I like to get nice handling pigeons for me, not for other people. You know, not every pigeon that I've got here is a nice handling pigeon. If they produce winners, they've got to perch. If they don't produce winners, well, they've got to go.
Right, so we'll just move on to a couple of questions that we've had, John, from earlier on and a couple tonight. So, One is, if you had to pick a pair out of the sale, which would be your pick, John?
Well, definitely Beauty BGR. She's outstanding. I do really like the hen. And for the cocks, there's a few nice cocks there as well. Denman, double grandchild of Den 2000. He's a nice pigeon.
That's alright, you pick
One-
a pair.
the son of the one off the son of Better Than Bolt. I think his ring number is number 60. I'm not sure of his name. He's a nice pigeon. Oh, that's the grizzle. That was one of the first. That was the first grizzle. That was the dark grizzle. He's a nice pigeon. For the cheaper end of the pigeons that haven't got quite so good a pedigree, that white, she's a really nice pigeon.
Yeah.
If I wouldn't be afraid to breed from that hen. A nice handling pigeon. She's all there, half a body. Just a nice all-round pigeon.
Another question here, John. John, I know you picked a hen for your pick of the sale. I suppose it'd lead on to that from that last question. What would be your pick in the cock? So you've obviously just answered that.
Yeah, probably Denman. Yeah.
Oh, that's the last thing I just wanted to say. If obviously someone came to you just starting up, what would be like some advice that they could follow? I know typical thing is, go to someone who's winning, which works, but what would be your advice?
Listen to everybody, make your own decision and try it.
Yeah.
Everybody's got advice, things that they do. Just listen to everything. Try it. If it works, keep at it. If it does work, don't change it.
Yeah. That's fantastic, John. Right, so I just want to thank everyone for watching. I know it's been difficult for both of us because obviously we're not used to this. We've had to get all the setup going and everything like that. And there is a lot that goes into it, and I know you're busy, John, and you're obviously taking time away from your family to do this, so I appreciate that. So what we'll do is, anyone who wants to keep watching, we'll just run through the signing if anyone's struggling, and the registration. But yeah, the sale starts tomorrow, Sunday the 3rd of October, and it ends next Sunday the 10th. It started at 6 AM and obviously the pigeons end at varying times. I think there's a 10 minute gap in between them. So yeah, thanks everyone for watching. I hope you've enjoyed listening to it. Thanks a lot, John.
Thanks everybody. Thanks Jack. Thanks Ethan.
No worries. As we just talk you through the registration. So basically, if you go on to www.elitepigeonauctions.co.uk, just get John out of the way a sec.
Stretch it out so we can see everyone.
Just stretch straight out so everyone can see it. So basically you click on the sign in, and if you go to registration, type in your email address, whatever it may be, set a password, click on the I am a customer. The vendor is for the back end, that's for when we're selling. If you want to subscribe to the newsletter, you can do. Fill out your first name. Let me just get back on it a second. Type in all your addresses, etc. Your phone number, where you're from, your town, your postcode. This data won't be used for anything else other than to contact you in regards to the pigeons, but you will not be able to bid unless you put in a correct address. It's just to basically save any false bids. So once you've done all that, you can click register and then you're good to go. So yeah, thanks for that everyone. Cheers for watching. We'll see you on the next one.